I have loved our topic this month, The Gentle Art of Blessing by Pierre Prodavand, who wrote the book after a very traumatic experience he had in Switzerland from an institution that he had donated extensively to and had worked in Africa. And he said they gave him this like moral dilemma, and so he chose higher ground, and he resigned, and they were knowing that he was going to do that. And out of being very resentful for many months, and while showering, thinking about it, while eating, while going shopping, thinking about this, it was like possessing him. And one day he was going through the Bible, and it was a book of actually many sacred texts. And there were the words of Jesus, bless and curse not. And he said it was like an electrical shock that went through his body temple, and he got it about what he was doing and giving his power away. Bless and curse not, because that which we bless increases. And guess what? That which we curse increases. Yes, it does. And so he began this journey, and he said, I started writing The Gentle Art of Blessing just for my own edification, and it was like I was channeling. It just all came spilling out, and it is the most beautiful book. You can order it on Amazon, and you can also get the Kindle edition, and I have both. And through The Gentle Art of Blessing, his whole world opened up. And what we know in our daily life, which is our temple and our religion, that when we look at blessing as a spiritual path, that everything in our path really is a blessing, whether it looks like it or not. And what I know is that when things occur in our life, and it looks like people, places, and things move out of our lives, and sometimes that can be devastating. But at the same time, as we bless each experience at a higher frequency, at a higher level, we look out into the horizon of our lives, and people, places, and things are coming in on the next wave of light at a much higher vibrational octave. This is how life works when we bless and curse not. Know ye not that I will pour you out a blessing pressed down, shaken together, and flowing over into every area of your life. And as we bless our path, and blessing as a spiritual path is blessing every single experience in our lives. And one of my sayings also is, whenever I have felt the rug pulled out from under me, I have always landed on higher ground. We all go through our experiences. We're all going through this collective pandemic. And how are we handling this? And when yes, I want you to know it's all right to have human emotions. It's all right to vent in a safe space and to release these energies, and then to fill the void with the love of life. And that today we did take our first conscious breath. We did step out of the bed, and did we say, oh my God, is gravity going to be there to support me? Oh my God. No, we knew gravity was going to be there to support us, didn't we? Yes, exactly. So all this fear-based thinking, and I have a very dear friend, and she is a retired nurse and in charge of nurses at Desert Regional. And we were having a discussion about, wearing the mask, washing the hands, doing all the things that we're all doing, using wisdom, but not allowing this fear-based thinking to control us, because we will create the very thing that we are afraid of. What did Job say? That which I feared, that which I was most afraid of, has come upon me. It is through the law of attraction that this occurs. We attract unto us the energies that we focus on. So blessing as a spiritual path is we are putting our foot on the path. This is the way, walk ye in it, in light and truth, beauty, wisdom. And to know that we are divinely protected. The love of God surrounds us. The light of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. This is the way, walk ye in it. And when we have that transformational moment on the path of blessing, the blessing path, we can never go back to the way it was, ever. We are evolving, we are unfolding, we are expanding in miraculous ways. And so this whole month of looking at our blessings and allowing that energy that when we, as Reverend Jones shared this morning, that as we're taking a walk, we bless the houses. As we're driving in our car, we bless every passing car. As we're at the grocery store, blessing everyone in line, the cashiers, and all those that are helping. And the energy of just being in the world, but of a higher vibratory frequency. And that everything can be transformed, to send a silent blessing for those that you know are challenged at a given moment. And the Apostle Paul said, out of my weakness, I have found my perfect strength. So those places, those frailties that we're working on, out of my weakness, I have found my perfect strength. And especially, this is so true, you look at a 12-step program from people who have been out in the world and they have been very addicted and they've had a healing. In fact, Bill Wilson, went to Carl Jung, the very famous Swiss psychiatrist, to say, please cure me of my alcoholism. And Dr. Carl Jung said, I cannot cure you of your alcoholism. He said, only a spiritual experience can do that. Only a spiritual experience. And he said that that night he went back to his room, and at 3 o'clock in the morning there was this amazing light in the room. And he felt the presence of God. He felt this energy. And as he felt this energy, there was something going on within his consciousness, within his heart. Because we make the longest journey on the planet, the 18-inch journey from the head to the heart. Where our heart is, there our treasure will be also. And he had a transformative experience, got up from that bed, went out and started Alcoholics Anonymous. And the basis is spiritual. Whatever you conceive your God to be, whatever name you put on your higher power, it matters not. But to know there is a higher power guiding and directing us on this path of blessing. And all the alcoholics, and I come from a long line of alcoholics, and some even went to Alcoholics Anonymous and did not feel that energy to keep on the path. And there was nothing I can do. We cannot change anyone else. I mean, I've been a minister 45 years, and I can only put it out there that, there are certain things we can do in our lives that will create this energy of wholeness and a feeling completeness and feeling worthy. And being raised in domestic violence myself, this was learned. I took every science of mind class there was to take. There was nothing left except the School of Ministry, and my husband said, you're a natural. Even if you do nothing with it, you will get so much value from it. And when we learn that we are created in the image and likeness of God, whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, when we get it, that we are created as co-creators with this energy, that we have a choice. Choose ye this day whom you will serve, God, life, truth, beauty, or the ego. It's a choice, isn't it? And so if you speak, and I have spoken to many, many alcoholics that haven't had a drink in 30, 40 years, and they said alcoholism was the best thing that ever happened to me. My life was transformed. I found God. I found a community that wanted to be conscious. It's not just about being sober. You can be on a dry drunk and have the same behaviors. It's about being conscious. And the more conscious we are, the space is amazing. And I started out on Alateen and then Al-Anon, and, with my own issues of being raised in this environment. And that it's not always going to be a war. And you don't have to be defensive. That's low, when you're feeling defensive, that's low self-esteem speaking through us. But when we can just sit and say, oh, all right. I love the old legend about the young girl in the village, the most beautiful young girl. She became with child, and she had a wonderful lover, and she didn't want to point the finger at him because she didn't want him to be ostracized or condemned by the village. So there was the old holy man who lived up on the hill in a hut, and she accused him of being the father of her child. And the whole village was up in arms, and they went to his hut, and they, were yelling and screaming and, saying, how could you do this? And he just came out and said, is that so? Well, I'm very willing to marry the young girl. Well, she didn't want to marry the old spiritual guy, right? The holy man. She wanted her young lover. And so she goes, oh, no. And so finally, she fessed up, through a series of events and said, it was her lover and they had been together since children. And so then they became married, and it was a great, glorious occasion. And the whole village went up to the hut and called the holy man and apologized profusely. And he just said, is that so? And went back into his hut. He had no energy on it. It was a passing thing. He didn't need to defend himself. He knew who he was. And one night he came home to his hut. He had nothing really, of value. And there was a burglar, in his little hut, his wonderful little energy field where he meditated. And he said, I'm so sorry, I have nothing for you here. And he took off his clothes and gave them to the man so that he would not have a trip in vain. So energetically, when we have no attachments, we can say, oh, is that so? But when we are feeling low self-esteem, when we're not feeling worthy or deserving, we're defensive. So I was defensive for years. I worked so deeply on really integrating the insecurity so that I could feel the compassion for others. And then finally in the ministry, that I could know from whence people came, that I had lived through certain experiences, that I knew from whence they came. Just as in a 12-step program, if you've experienced it, you can extend your hand in compassion and give a hand up. And when we give a hand up, we uplift the planet as a whole as well. When we bless everyone exactly where they are, this is where they need to be at that moment for their soul's evolution. And when we understand that, we don't have to go around as little reformers. When I first got into this life, I told everybody, oh, you need this. Oh, this is going to help you. I alienated so many people against Science of Mind because I was out there, being a little do-gooder and thinking, oh, this is, it helped me so much. It's going to help you and you're going to be transformed. And, they were offended and said, I don't need help. What are you talking about? So we are a movement of attraction, not promotion. And we allow our light to so shine before the world that they see our good works and glorify our Father in the heaven of our own consciousness. And they will want what we have. So this path of blessing, every experience, the sadnesses, the tragedies, the energy of dis-ease, the near-death experiences, the addictions, as we bless it all, it transforms, doesn't it? And it's uplifted in the energy of the realm, that heavenly realm of consciousness. This is the way. Walk ye in it. And as we listen to that divine call, this is the way. Walk ye in it. Our spiritual path becomes clear to us, and we begin to bless every single experience in our lives. So this is why I love our way of life. We do look at the laws of science, cause and effect, the opinions of philosophy, that so many wonderful great philosophers out there. Plotinus was the first one to really talk about self-image psychology, right? And as the opinions of philosophy, the revelations of religion, that we take our good wherever we find it. And it comes in the most amazing, amazing ways, doesn't it? And what I love about interfaith, and we had this beautiful ordination, is that I have never moved beyond interfaith. And I have been all over the world. I was unanimously elected president of the International Foundation for World Peace and Research in Africa. I've been part of the Nobel Peace Prize Commission in Oslo, Norway. I have lectured and presented in Cambridge, in Oxford, in Hamburg, Germany, in Croatia, at the university, at the Istanbul University. I can go on, and also in London, at the School of Oriental and African Studies. And for me, I've extended. I am an extension of Interfaith. I'm a representative of Interfaith Spiritual Center worldwide, a divine idea in the mind of God whose time has come. The time is now, and the place is right where we are. Because the point of power is where? Always in the present moment, right? Always in the present moment. So we just keep drawing the larger circle and including everything. This is a path of blessing. It really is. I want to say thank you to Pierre Prodavand for this wonderful, and he's got a new book out that I just bought, 365 Days of Blessings, and to enlarge and to keep opening the space to allow God to do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who heard the call and answered. So I thank you. I love you. I know that we're all on the path, and where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place, and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place, and we will not come down. And I say to you, Namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. Shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, every single one. So it is.